So in this video I'm going to show you how to build your flatbed for the tracked vehicle that I sell. So first thing to get started with is I wanted to quick mention there's a couple different ways you can buy this from me. You could either print your own and buy the STL files, and you need for sure like a 12 by 12 inch printer, because these main panels, I think it's like 11.8 inches, so you need a big printer for these. But then if you buy it from me, you can either buy it plain, so you just have this as the flatbed deck, or you can add some plywood cut lumber that you can glue on to make a wooden deck. And the reason I'm selling them separately is in case someone wants to use some more fancy wood for theirs. But when you buy it from me, it just comes with some glued plywood. I think it looks really nice still, but it's it's not as high quality as some stuff you can get from the hobby store. But that's what mine comes with. So first thing to get started building it, if you look on the miscellaneous drill and hardware page, there's a section for the flatbed here. There's like a drill key at the top, shows you what drill bit to use for these holes. It's not very many on this one. And then also shows what hardware you need. So I'm going to go ahead and drill out those holes. It's not very many, so I'll just do that. So to get the flatbed glued together, what we got to do, or what we'll be doing, is actually gluing the two halves together like this, and then we'll be using these pieces and gluing them all the way down as like braces. But first thing is take a full size sheet of sandpaper. We want to sand this edge just a little bit smoother than it comes out when it's printed. So just take it on a piece of sandpaper kind of like this. Try to keep it, upright. So I'm going to go ahead and sand both edges. So there I went and sanded both of the edges here. So they should sit together pretty nice now. And then next thing we want to do is I'm going to use some black ABS cement that you get at the hardware store. And I'm going to put just a little bit of glue down the seam, but not too much because we don't want it to show through on the other side when we flip it over. You might maybe want to put a piece of tape on this side just so you don't get any glue on there. And then I'll glue that together like that, and then while it's like that, I'm going to take each one of these pieces and put a bunch of glue, all the way down. It'll basically look like this here. And then these three little ones, one goes up front here like this. Actually, I might have to sand the ends of that down because we took a lot of I took quite a bit of material off of there to get it even. But one goes on the side here, and then one goes on the bottom. And then the third one goes on this side back here. So I'm going to go ahead and glue all that down. Here's a quick trick I thought up while I was about to glue this here. If you take a piece of masking tape and lay it like sticky side up, and then you drop one panel down on it, then you can line up the other one right up to it there. So that way the tape kind of helps hold it while you glue it. So after I put some glue down the seam here, I first attach those two little strips to the end that has these on it, and then I put a heavy weight on this end just to make sure that that end stays actually aligned up properly, because you'll be able to see that end on the very back. So that's just to make sure it's not crooked or something. So then I'm going to start applying all the other strips here. So here you can see I have the flatbed all glued together now. And I kind of messed up on the top side a little bit. Some glue accidentally got underneath the tape. So when you're doing this seam, make sure the tape's on there tight enough and that you sanded the edges straight enough. For me, this won't matter because I'm putting on a wooden deck, so it'll cover up most of the error. But if you don't want a wooden deck and you want yours just plastic like this, you know, try hard to avoid that. And all that was the ABS glue reacted with the top surface and just changed its shine, basically. So there's really no way to repair that as far as I'm concerned. So just try to avoid that. Next step here is we're going to be using 6 number 4 by 1/2 inch pan sheet metal screws and this part. And you can put this on either this way or shiny side facing out. The only real difference is these bottom row of lines here are half the thickness of the others. So it's just kind of personal preference. I'm going to put mine on shiny side facing out. And that actually gets screwed into these 6 holes here. So I'll go ahead and do that. And here I have it screwed together. So if you don't want to put a wooden bed on this, then it's almost done. The only thing left is to put the clips on that attach it to the actual body down here. So this is what you need here. And those small printed parts. And in this, I'm going to be showing you how to put it on the cab. But it's the exact same. If you look, each one of the top modules has the same type of thing. And I'll show you just one side, and then I'll do it the same on the other side because it's the exact same, just mirrored. So to get started, see, we'll take this piece here, goes on that hole like that. And then we're going to take a number 2 by 3/8 pan head and a number 2 washer and screw that in there. There, I have it screwed down. And then we're going to take this little small piece here, and that one goes on the other side. Just like that. And then we'll use a quarter inch screw with a number 2 washer and screw that in on the top there. So there's that. And then to actually connect it to the module, this stick part here will actually insert like that. And if it's hard to push it in there, you'll have to either sand or file that down until it, because you want it to slide fairly smoothly. And then just trying to make sure my camera actually sees what's going on here. And then this arm will swing down. You can see there's a hole here. You'll line that up with the hole, and then use a 3/8 screw and washer for that. And there I have it all screwed down. And this screw you'll want to do pretty tight. The tighter you go, the like better this will stay where it is. And then the way that this works is, if you look underneath, it's almost like a drawbar. So when you open it, it releases, because on the Snowcat there's a screw here. So when you put the body on, the screw goes in here, and then that caps over the top of the screw so the body can't come off. And then the way to release it, you just push like this. And then the way to latch it again, you kind of push down, like push this down, and then push it forward. So I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side, except flipped around. So once you have your body clips installed, we can go ahead and mount it to the tracked vehicle. Make sure the clips are up. I think mine are closed right now. There we go. And it's a little tricky to get used to the actual clips, how they work. But you gotta push it down first, and then backwards. I don't know if my camera can see all that. And then it creates like really tight bond between the modules in the vehicle. So depending on if you're gonna put the wooden bed on or not, you might already be done. If you're not putting it on, I mean. So one thing to note about this is the whole vehicle is capable of moving over like 50 pounds of weight. But on the flatbed, if you happen to carry something that's really heavy, try to keep it towards the center and up if you can, because this is just, you know, it's just printed plastic on the flatbed. It is strong, but the very ends of it, you know, there's some flex to it. So like from here is where it's strongest on the flatbed, you know, for the most weight. So next we'll install a wooden bed, if you order that. So here is the wooden bed. As you can guess, this actual whole tracked vehicle is going to RC Sparks once I get it all built. His machine has helped me make all these build series videos, so I thought I would do something special for his flatbed. Laser engraved his logo. When you order the flatbed with wooden slats, yours will just be blank. You know, there won't be none of the engraving will be on yours. So first thing to do to get started on the assembly of this is you'll need to get some kind of contact cement. If you've never heard of contact cement, what it is you brush it on both surfaces and then you wait for it to dry. It's around like 15 minutes or so for it to dry. And then when you connect both surfaces together, they like instantly bond together. As you can see, they use it for like countertops and tile and stuff, so you should be able to get this at like a local hardware store. So we need to prepare the bed. What we want to do is mask off the areas that the wood won't be going on, so we don't get any of the glue all over it. There's 22 spots for the wood, and your kit will come with 23 pieces. One of these you can use as like a stir stick, or in case one happens to get damaged or something. But I'm going to mask around the cab right here, or yeah, this front, and then I'm going to put a piece of masking tape on both sides here, and then one going across the bottom. So there I applied masking tape around the edges. For the very front piece of tape, I left a slight gap, if you can see that. It'll just make it easier to actually remove the tape once all the wood pieces are glued on. So then I'm going to set the whole snowcat aside. And then I'm going to put something down, like either newspaper or just something, because you're going to get this cement will get everywhere, so you want to, you know, prepare your station kind of. So here I have some brown paper laid down, and I spaced all the beams out that I'm going to be using face downwards, because we're putting glue on the back side, and I left a lot of space in between them because we're going to be brushing the glue on one at a time. It's easier this way, I found. And then I have the cat nearby for when we're done with the beams. We're going to apply the same glue on there. And I went ahead and opened this already. This stuff is pretty fumy, so I would recommend, you know, a well-ventilated area for sure. And probably I would recommend a normal brush. This is just all I have on hand. Should work fine. We'll see. Yeah, and then you'll need some kind of maybe flathead screwdriver or something, because as we apply the glue, I'm going to use this just to hold the beam in place while I'm applying the glue to it so it doesn't move around on me. So, also, oh yeah, make sure to mix this up really good. Your kit will come with one extra beam, so you can use that as a stir stick if you need to. Yeah, if you've never used this, it's almost like, it's like paint, but it's glue. It's very runny stuff. I always keep the lid on mine just to keep the fumes down, and just kind of open it up when you need a new dab of it. So I'll start with one of these just in the middle here. And you want to do it kind of thick, but not like, you know, don't have it like pooling on there. And also don't worry if you get glue on the underneath side of it, because after we have it all done, we're going to do a light sanding, and that should remove any glue marks that got on top. So I'll go ahead, and you want to kind of do them, you don't have to rush through it, but don't take too long. There is like a range. I know they recommend to wait 15 minutes after you have both surfaces coated before actually applying them, but I'll show you that when I get that far. I'm going to finish brushing it all on these here. So I applied the glue to all the wooden beams now. Now I'm going to do one fairly thick coat on the whole flatbed deck. So there I applied a really, I guess not that thick, but you know, decent amount of glue on the whole bed. Make sure to get the edges really good, because those will have the most, you know, most wear on them. So now I'm going to wait 15 minutes from now, give or take, maybe closer to 20, and these will become dry to the touch once it's ready to actually apply them. So I'll be back in a few. So it's been about 15 minutes, and the way to check it is if you touch it and there's any tackiness, just wait maybe another 5 more minutes. So I'm going to wait just a couple more minutes, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and start applying the wooden pieces to the flatbed now. Make sure not to accidentally drop them or even touch the other pieces of wood, because this stuff, even though it feels dry, when this touches this, it's like an instant bond with it. So as you're applying each piece of wood, keep them in line with each line that's printed in here, because there is a slight gap in between each piece of wood. So don't do it uptight or you're actually going to run out of pieces. Each one you apply, just make sure you're going along that line there. And what I'll do is I'll start on this end, like tighten it up here, and then line it up on this end, and then slowly land it as you're trying to keep it even. And then just kind of put some pressure on it like that to kind of set it. And you can see already it's like stuck, like that's already on there. And I noticed there's a slight overlap of the tape here, so I'm actually going to go ahead and remove this piece. But just to make sure the glue doesn't pull up with the tape, I'm going to just do like a slice down here. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you a few more actually. So line it up with the lines that are printed in the flatbed there. Just a slight gap I left in between each one. And then as you're lowering it, you know, try to keep it lined up. And then each one you put down, you want to use pressure on it all the way, because it's about, that's why they call it contact cement. Like the surface has to touch, so if it's a little bit off, you know, it's not going to actually glue. So just make sure and just, you know, push it down all the way. And then you see I got some glue on the top there, but once I get these all on, I'm going to use either a piece of sandpaper or a sander and just very lightly do one sanding on this thing. So here's another one. So I'm going to continue and put them all on now. Yeah, while putting on the next piece, I kind of realized maybe I should also remove this back piece of tape just to make it a little easier on me. So I'm going to make another cut just so the glue doesn't peel off with the tape. And then I'm going to peel this off too. So yeah, and I'm going to continue putting them on. So there I have all the beams down, and I think that logo came out pretty damn sweet. If you guys haven't heard of RC Sparks, I'm going to leave a link down below, or you can just search that on YouTube. Makes some kick-ass videos of RC stuff. So to get this tape off of here, I'm going to use a knife again just to make sure I don't peel the tape out. Or I mean the glue out from underneath there, because even though it's solid right now, I think it still takes a while for it to actually fully dry. So just taking precautions. So at this point, your flatbed is almost done. Let's see, if when you were applying any of these beams, if you happen to get them a little too far that way, you might just need to take a file or something to sand out that glue, just so these can still fit in here. But mine, it was still okay. So next thing is, you can see I got glue spots everywhere. I'm going to take a sander and just very lightly sand it until some of these are gone. So I'm going to go ahead and use some hand sandpaper just to get the rest. Because if you do go too deep with the sandpaper, with the wood you buy from me, it is glued plywood. So if you sand too much, you could actually go into the next layer, which would make it look really weird. So I'm going to finish sanding it and then blow it all off. So here is the mostly finished product. The last step to do, which I'll let you guys do on your own, is to pick out what stain you want to stain your wood, and then maybe like a clear coat, like a top coat or something. But that's kind of beyond this video. I'm sure there's thousands of YouTube videos on just staining wood and stuff, so I'll let you guys figure that out. But then here's the actual side panels on this thing. So I think that turned out really sweet. So let me know what you guys think, and I can't wait until Aaron at RC Sparks gets this and can make some videos of his own. So thanks for watching, guys.